Take control of your finances. Gain insights from top industry professionals. Financial topics that matter to you from your go-to resource. This is Right on the Money with your host, Dennis Mattern.
Hello and welcome to Right on the Money, the show that features financial advisors, insurance professionals, and fiduciaries who discuss financial topics that empower you to take control of your finances. I'm your host, Dennis Mattern. We're so glad you've taken time out of your day to spend with us. Also remember, you can watch full episodes on our YouTube channel or at rightonthemoneyshow.com. Now today I'm pleased to be joined by our friend Steve Caruso, founder of Laurel Wealth Solutions and Senior Wealth Manager at Bell Point Asset Management. And also, Steve, I understand the author of a new book, Cookie Cut This.
Yes. Thank you, Dennis. It's great to be here.
It is always great to have you on the show. Now, the book, I'm very excited to talk about that, talk about your practice, but let's dive right into the book. First of all, where did you come up with the title?
One of the things that a lot of these retirement plans and retirement distribution plans do is they use cookie cutters. They package people into 3 or 4 different segments, and they have one pie chart for these people, one pie chart for those people, another pie chart here. What I've found with meeting with clients over the last 20 years is that in retirement, your life doesn't follow some mold.
Right.
So basically, I'm taking the advice that I've built over a 20-year career and packaging it in a way for the nonconformist.
So I love the book. This is probably the best book that I've read on finances and a guide. I really think you could teach a college course. It's such a textbook, but it's well written. It's easy to enjoy. I love the fact that you talk about the idea again with everybody else is doing this risk questionnaire, this questionnaire, and like you said, you're this, or if you answer it this way, you're that. And you talk in the book a lot about the idea of it really comes down to finding out what your goals are. Can you talk about that?
So one of the things that most financial planners do is they kind of just give lip service to the idea of goals. So they'll say, you want to retire and, buy a place in Florida, or you want to, and then the commercials are, buy a vineyard, or things that real people don't do.
Yeah.
So what we do know is that the average 75-year-old spends their 4 hours a day in their retirement watching cable news. So somewhere between the person who watches 4 hours a day of cable news and the person who owns a vineyard is the rest of the...
is where the rest of us follow the reality?
The reality, exactly. So it's determining what that reality is. Now remember, before retirement, your job is a huge part of your identity. So it's...
Yeah, absolutely.
For 40 years, you're building your identity through your job. It's also a huge factor in your schedule. Mm-hmm. Well, guess what happens when you retire? It's not just that you don't have a paycheck anymore. You don't have that same structure. So if you haven't thought about the things that are going to occupy your day and how you're going to maintain not just your physical health, but also your mental health, and you're not asking yourself the right questions, then the planning that you're going to do is going to fail. Because if you don't start from the right reference point, everything you do from that wrong reference point is going to just lead to more and more incorrect assumptions.
Decisions. I think you do a great job in the book, and that's something that I really took from the book. Is it does come down to asking those right questions, and that those right questions really can help you align your investments with your goals, like you're talking about. Can you talk a little bit about finding the right questions that you should be asking?
So the right questions are, what's going to occupy your day? Who are you going to spend time with? Who are your social circles? So are there friends that you're planning to reconnect with? Do you have children that live locally? Do your children live in different parts of the country or different parts of the world? Mm-hmm. If that's the case, then you're going to have to budget to travel to those places if those are people you're going to want to see on a regular basis, and for most people they are. Also, people tend to do a lot of their aspirational stuff in the first couple years of retirement. So
now when you say aspirational, what do you mean?
Like the bucket list type stuff. Go to...
Milan.
Yeah, exactly. Go to Italy, go to do a river cruise, whatever it is that they want to do. They tend to do that and spend more in the first couple years of retirement. The cookie cutter retirement plan doesn't account for that. It doesn't account for changes in spending habits in retirement. So there's a lot of flaws in that. Mm-hmm. But if you actually figure out what your budget is going to be, What's really critical in a retirement distribution plan is knowing or having a sense of what the expenses are going to be in the first 3 to 5 years of retirement. Why? Because you want to have that money available in liquid, in cash.
Sure.
Because you always want to make decisions from a position of financial strength. And you can't do that if your money's at risk.
That brings up several great points that I want to talk to you about after the break. So we're going to talk, when we come back, I want to talk about Charlie. I want to talk, there's a great segment in the book about really, it's kind of a spending barbell, if you will. But I want to come back to all of that. So after the break, Steve and I are going to talk about the different phases of retirement, more questions that you should be asking, and later we're going to talk about red flags when you're looking for an advisor. You don't want to miss that. We'll see you on the other side of the break.